Welcome back, everyone, to the Fix Stops Mastermind podcast. We are your hosts, Dave Foy with
Damon Egan.
Damon Egan. How's it up there in Canada today? Is it still snowing?
We got snow this morning. It is still snowing. Yes.
Oh my God. I was really kind of kidding, but I'm sorry, man.
Such is life. It's melting. So soon the birds will be singing and the snow will be gone and we'll be back in the game.
Whew, stronger man than I. It's hard enough down here in New England. Can't imagine up there.
Well, I know. I just wish that it would go sooner than later, but we always try and make the best of the situation, and this is now time to change over the tires.
There you go. You got to get ready for your 3 days of summer you have up there.
Yes, 3 days. Well, we could have winter, fall, spring, and summer all in one day.
That's a beautiful thing.
It absolutely is. Absolutely is.
So today we've got excitement for him today, don't we?
Absolutely, we do. Absolutely.
So we have the top 5 ways to improve your advisor's performance today, not tomorrow, not in a month, but today. 5 things that you can do to help your advisors improve today.
Oh, exactly. I mean, with our appointment counts being lower, now is the time to get those processes on top, get them front and center. And then when it does get busier, you'll already be well prepared.
Absolutely. The time to get ready for the game is not 10 minutes before the game, right? It's you got to practice the week before and the month before.
Yes, It's always about the preparation. If you're not on top of your game, then you're going to fail when it comes crunch time.
Absolutely. So we have, get right into it. Number 1, train the walk around.
Oh, the advisor's worst enemy, the walk around. They do it because we tell them to.
But should they do it because we tell them to? Or should they do it because it's awesome?
It's pointless to do it if you're just doing it because you were told to. Here's the deal with a walk around. This is where you create the relationship with your customer. It gives you a common starting point. It gives you something to talk about because, as we all know, the car is just a commodity. This is where you start to make the relationship. And all too often, advisors do a walk around to do what? To CYA, right? They want to cover their own asses for any damage on the car to say, look, we didn't do it. That is entirely the wrong thing to do when doing a walk around. You're not doing it for that. You're doing it to compliment. You're doing it to have a conversation. You're doing it, to look at stuff on the vehicle, not just the bad stuff, but the good stuff. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, if an advisor looks at it as, so let's say you look at it as dating, or if you're married, continuing the courtship with your significant other, you have to make that effort to understand them and to see the things that make them light up. And typically a person's car is going to give you those things that make that customer light up, that are important to them.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, cars are deeply personal to a lot of people, and a lot of people spend many, many hours in their cars. And so they have things inside their cars that mean something to them, or on their cars that mean something to them. So, as an advisor does a walk around, number 1, I don't think they should ever call it a walk around or say to the customer, hey, I got to go do a walk around on your car.
Does anybody even know what that means?
I think to the customer, they're like, oh yeah, they want to take a look at that scratch over on that other side. So I don't blame them for it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, using car lingo like that walk around, man, that just is so irritating. I don't know how many times I've been in a drive and I've heard an advisor say that, oh, let me just go do a walk around your vehicle. Like, are we doing like cardio now? Do we have to get into a fat burning zone? What do we got to do here? Like, I don't even know what this is about right now. And customers really have that confused look. Like when your dog hears something and kind of tilts his head to one side. Usually that's what a customer does when they say, I'm going to go do a walk around.
Yeah, absolutely. I can totally see that. So the first thing that an advisor needs to do is they got to involve that customer, right? You got to get the customer involved in the process. So if you do that when you get to the car, and it's not it's not step out of the car, please, as if they just got pulled over by the police. So let's not do that. And thank you to Ted Ings for that wording there. We don't do step out of the car, please. It's join us outside the car, right? Join us out here.
Exactly.
And then, we can start to walk around from there with the customer. What a novel idea.
Go figure. This is like, as you said earlier, this is like a first date. We're getting to know you. So instead of, hey, let's go do a walk around or, anything like that, how about, hey, let's go let's go check out your vehicle. Why don't you tell me something cool about her? Maybe I noticed something cool on your vehicle and then you can tell me about it. Now we're finding some common ground. And that's going to lower down those walls that the customer has when they're coming in. Because we all know customers are not coming in to say hi. They're not coming in to say, oh, look at me. No, they're coming to see us because they have a problem. We have to fix it. So they already don't want to be there. So why don't we make it a little more enjoyable, a little more fun, rather than step out of the car, please?
Absolutely. How about a simple question of what's the funnest thing you do in your car, or whatever it is. I'm trying to think of some stupid little question. It's anything that you can ask about the car.
Oh, for sure.
To take it away, take the customer away from the fact that they're in your service drive to do service that they may or may not want to do, but they feel they have to do. So take it away from that. Like you said, take their guard down a little bit.
Exactly. Compliment them. If the car's got like cool rims, then let's talk about those. If it's got if it's a truck and it's got a lift kit, let's talk about that. Let's talk about some of the cool stuff that's going on rather than, well, I see you've got this, or I see that this is a problem, or this is a problem. Man, oh man, if I went to any store and a salesperson came at me with, hey, I don't really like your clothes, I'm going to have a problem. Chances are I'm not buying anything at that store.
Yeah, absolutely. And one question that I cringe every time I hear an advisor say it is, and it's usually one of the first things out of their mouth is, do you have an appointment today?
Ooh, that's so bad. It's so bad. Like, these are the people that put food on our tables. These are the people that pay our checks. And then all of a sudden you say, so got an appointment today?
Yeah. Well, were you invited here?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's so bad. I don't know why advisors or managers feel that they've got to make this such a transactional process and so cold. I mean, we get that when we go to the bank. Like, you don't want to do it here.
Yeah, no need for it.
So here's something, and this is a little bit of psychology, but let's look at it this way. I mean, we've all been told, don't call them customers, call them guests, because that, you treat them like you would treat somebody in your house. Mm-hmm. If a friend of mine comes to the door, I don't ask them, got an appointment?
An appointment?
Did I invite you here? No, of course not. You invite them in, say hi. So how about this? Rather than treating them like a customer, how about you actually take the words to heart and say, hey, this is a guest in my home, and I'm going to treat them like I would treat any friend, with a friendly, hi, how's it going? How are you? Not got an appointment.
Oh, make them feel welcome. How about that?
What a novel concept.
It really is. It really is. All right, here we go. Number 2. All right, number 2 is sales language.
All right, so this is the one that I have a huge, huge problem with. For any of you that have a former technician on your drive as an advisor now, what do they 99.9% of the time do? They talk above what the customer understands. I mean, I've been in this business a long time. You want me to explain what an outer tie rod does? Not a clue. Not a clue. But if you tell me it's the thing that attaches to the wheel, and if it's not fixed, then the wheel will fall off. Oh, now you're talking my language. Now I get it. So in all too often, and in way too many cases, advisors are using verbiage that they've heard from a technician, and they're not using real language. They're not using real terms that people can understand. There's a lot of sales tools out there that you can use, but they're all going to tell you to do the same thing, and that is reduce to the ridiculous. Make it so easy that anybody understands what you're talking about. Because if you don't, automatically your customer is going to get that glazed look over their face. They're not going to trust you. They're not going to believe you. And they're not going to tell you that. They're just going to say, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. And then when you say, so did you want to have that done today? They're going to say, yeah, no.
No.
Because they don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, it happens a lot. And even with advisors in the drive who have not been technicians, but they still talk in language that the customer doesn't understand. Like they'll use acronyms from the CRM, right?
Ooh,
so
yeah,
it's I heard one of my new advisors the other day talking to a customer, and he was going through, and I'm like, oh, okay, he's doing okay. And he's like, okay, so all right, so we don't want to get that one done. All right, I'm going to thumbs down that one. And he's talking about using ASR, and it has a thumbs up or a thumbs down to say whether a repair gets done or not done. It's just an internal thing. It alerts the technician as to whether they're doing the job, not doing the job, parts, whether they need to pull parts or not. And a customer has no idea. And I'm just sitting there thinking on the other end, like, thumbs down is such a negative connotation to it. I'm like, what does that customer feel right now?
Absolutely. And we touched on this last week, but I'm gonna go back to it. And this is all too often the service advisors do not get the proper sales training. And that's a huge thing. Where does most of the training go in any dealership? Goes to the sales department, because they have to learn how to sell cars. An advisor will see as many clients in a day than a salesperson will in a week. So who needs more training, the salesperson or the service advisor? Because really, when it comes down to it, we're both doing the exact same job. It becomes, you have a product, you need to explain what it does, why it benefits the customer to separate them from their money, and then you close the deal. Now, there is two sides of the fence on this. And one is, well, we shouldn't be using sales tactics in a service department. I have a problem with this. And the reason being is because that an advisor is selling a commodity just the same as a salesperson is selling a car. So why shouldn't they, as advisors, have the same techniques to use as a salesperson would closing a deal? So we don't have that manager that we run back to the desk and pencil the deal and all this stuff. No, we don't have that, because we're not dealing in $60,000, $70,000 repairs. We're dealing in, $50 oil changes or, $200 flushes or whatever. But the structure of the deal is still the exact same way. And as we all know, we have to get paid on sale or gross or net profit. And those only come when, lo and behold, you sell something.
Yes. And I think a lot of times the sales language takes on a slimy connotation, and it doesn't need to. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about making your people sneaky. We're simply talking about learning the psychology of sales and what to say, how to overcome that no when you get it without just arguing with a customer, or pleading with them that it's a safety item or whatever, but ways to actually use the psychology and actual sales tactics that will work to help take your customer through that journey to the yes where you want to get them. And it's way too often that we talk about sales language, and our advisors will be like, yeah, no, that's not for me. It's not for, a script. No, it's not for me. I like to go off the cuff.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard that one before too, and I'm really glad that you brought up the point of psychology, because that's what this is. This is a dance that you need to do with your guest to get them on your side. You know why it needs to be done. You know why maintenance is important. You know why that the repairs need to be handled. But all too often, your guest doesn't either have a clue, doesn't find the benefit in it. I mean, really, because really what we're talking about is intangibles on a
Mm-hmm.
vehicle. You're talking about a maintenance or a repair. That's not benefiting the customer in any way. They can't see it, feel it, touch it. It's just a piece of the car that needs to be either maintained or repaired. So it really is an intangible. And you have to understand what's going on in your guest's mind when they say no. How do you get around that no? Is it a stall or is it an objection? So is
Mm-hmm.
it, I need to talk to my wife? Is it, I need to think about it? And then what do you say? Because there's nothing worse, and we've all seen it, that there's nothing worse when a customer says no, or I need to think about it, and the advisor has that blank look on their face, and they're trying to remember from the limited training that they've had what to say. It's like, yeah, I remember the trainer 6 months ago told me that I need to say this. And you can see them kind of cataloging, in their heads what they're supposed to say next. And then they usually 9 times out of 10 will go, oh, okay, because they can't remember and they don't want to look foolish rather
Exactly.
than just having the conversation. That's,
Yeah. And
it's just, it baffles me. It absolutely baffles me that advisors aren't known as sales professionals and they don't put the extra time in to learn their craft.
yeah, and it's extremely important because 90% of what an advisor is doing is selling. And that's what they're doing, is selling. And like you said, it's an intangible. It's not something that the customer can see. They can't see that nice new couch that they picked out, come into their house and spent $1,000 on when
Ex-
they do front and rear brakes. They
ex-
they they don't get to see that. They don't get to
exactly.
enjoy it, sit in it, sleep on it. They don't get any of that. So you really need to be stronger in your sales training because of that.
Now, I don't know about you, Dave, but I've had people over to my house before and I've never said, hey, you want to come check out my brakes that I just put on my car? I just, paid $1,000 and nobody's going out to my garage going, ooh, brakes. Ooh, no, unfortunately that doesn't happen, but like I said, all too often we see advisors just, and you said it, like, just, I'll just wing it. No, you've
Mm-hmm.
got to have the verbiage. You've got to practice. I know
Right.
with our team, they've got a number of, we go through objection training, and that's something that, most advisors don't go is through objection training because it has to come out like it's a conversation. So we go through objection training. So then that way it's ingrained in them. It just becomes an automatic feedback of customer says no. This is what I say next. Customer says no again. This is what I say next. And
Mm-hmm.
again, we don't have enough of this training going on at all times. And that comes down to us as managers, not maybe we don't have the training and we're not confident enough to give that to our people. And then we have to go outside and get outside trainers. But then we can't do that because the GM says that that's too expensive.
as as they bring in their third film crew and
Exactly. Exactly.
to try and sell that 78 Ford Escort
Well, I
for
mean,
net gross.
and especially like today, as we know, new car margins are compressing, used car margins are compressing, to the point that they're not making any money in the front end. So where does all the money come from in a dealership? It comes from the fixed ops department, parts and service. And if we
Mm-hmm.
don't have the proper training and we're not using the proper skills and the proper language to convert those customers from, again, prospects into sales, then we've got a big, big disconnect. And that's why you're seeing the profit margins in most stores going down every single year.
Absolutely, continues to happen, and at some point, we will make a dent, Damon, and we'll make them understand that these types of things need to happen, have to happen. Number 3, we're already up to number 3. It's amazing. Menu presentation. So not just presenting the menu, but when do you present the menu? How do you present the menu?
Yeah, that's such a great point. A lot of stores, if you ask a manager, do you have a maintenance menu? What are you going to hear? That it's in the owner's manual.
Oh yeah, it's in the owner's manual.
Yeah. Or if they're with a third-party fluid company,
yes,
they'll make you a menu. Of course they will. Absolutely they will. But here's the deal. And they're probably not going to like that I'm going to say this. They make a menu to benefit their product.
No.
It happens. I'm not kidding you. It actually happens. So nowadays, the customer, what do we always hear? Well, it doesn't say that in my manual that I have to do that. Oh, it doesn't say that in my manual, right? How about this? Mr. Customer, this is what's recommended at this mileage. We're going to inspect these fluids to see if they need to be changed. If they don't, we're not going to. But in our climate and for the type of driving that most people do, this is what we recommend at this mileage. Well, what have we done here? We've done 2 things. One, we've presented what needs to be done. The second thing that we've done is we've lowered that wall again. Mr. Customer, if we check these fluids out and nothing needs to be done, we're not going to do it. All too often, advisors think that they've got to sell everything in the drive. So here's where I have a problem with this. And I've got a lot of problems. With this list, Dave, I've got a lot of problems with it.
I see that.
So what are most advisors told to do? Pre-sell in the drive. Pre-sell in the drive. Okay. So then the car goes in the shop. Then the inspection's done. Now the technician comes back to you and says, oh, on top of all the stuff that you sold, now go sell this, $2,000 worth of other stuff.
Right.
So now you're making a second call to the customer or a second text message or an email or anything else that you found. Now, what have you done with the customer? You've blown that trust out of the water. Hey, you need all this stuff, whether you need it or not. I think you do because we haven't even looked at it yet. But now you need more stuff. And I'm probably going to call you again because even after we do these repairs, well, I'm sure we'll find something else. Is exactly what the customer's thinking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, how much more is this going to cost? Yeah, exactly. They already have a low opinion of you going in. Now you've made it worse.
Yeah.
All right. So, Dave, with your advisors, how do you get them to present the menu?
Yeah. So what I'm looking for out of my advisors is to do just that. Just present it. We're not selling. We're certainly not pushing things on a customer. We simply want to make them aware of the things that your vehicle are due for, and be that according to the maintenance manual or according to our own local driving conditions, as you mentioned, because we realize, and we need to make customers realize that what a manufacturer lays out for a maintenance manual is not always in the best interest of that customer's vehicle's life. And customers sometimes have a hard time understanding that. But when it comes down to the lifetime maintenance costs on a vehicle, when they're trying to sell the vehicle, the manufacturer wants that to be as low as possible. So it looks like you buy this car and wow, you've got nothing to do to it for the next 5 years. You have to spend $12 on maintenance. When we realize that a manufacturer knows that if you don't touch any fluids or do anything to it, car will probably run 100,000 miles. And then after that, it's pretty shaky and you're going to go buy another one. So now they've accomplished what they want, which is you to move into a new piece of metal, hopefully with still their brand moniker on the front of it. But what we need to do from the fixed ops side is we want to make that car run as long and as well as possible. And that's going to require us recommending things to the customer. But I don't want them to actively sell that on the drive. Simply make them aware that these are the things that our that are recommended at this mileage. But as you said, Damon, my technician is going to take a look at this through the multi-point inspection, and he's going to check those fluids and see whether they are actually ready to be changed or not. If they are, he'll make a recommendation and I'll reach back out to you. But if they're not, then we're just going to leave them alone and we'll check them the next time.
You make such a great point there. I mean, we're inundated in this business with a lot of technology, and there's a lot of companies out there that are selling digital multi-point inspections with video and pictures and birthday presents or whatever comes with them. So here's the deal. Why not utilize that technology? Mr. Customer, while you're here, we're going to inspect your vehicle. And when we inspect your vehicle, we're going to check all the conditions of all the fluids, and we're going to shoot some video or take pictures of them, as we've talked about previously, of what needs to be done. If we see that they don't need to be done, you're going to have some evidence that shows that they don't. Or if they do, you're going to have evidence that shows that they do need to be done. Now, you're being completely transparent with your guest. You're not putting all this undue pressure on them in the drive while you've got 3 other customers waiting for you. Your drive's packed up and you're trying to sell something that is imaginary at this point. So why not let the technology enhance your selling style at that point? So if we do that, you've got a better shot at closing on those repairs or those maintenance items. Now, here's another tip that you can use when people say, well, my manual says this. And this is quite easy. Mr. Customer, the owner's manual that came with your vehicle is the same one for US and Canada, and that's anywhere from California to Maine, from Florida to Northern Canada. So they're not going to print all different manuals for all different areas, and they use one standard maintenance schedule, but this doesn't include the type of climate that we're in, doesn't include the type of driving that you do, whether it's towing, not towing, dusty roads, highway driving. It can't include all that information, or else your owner's manual would be 3 volumes thick. So this is a general guideline, but again, and this is where you move back to your MPI or multi-point inspection. See, I'm using technical jargon.
There you go.
You use your multi-point inspection at this point and give them the report at that time. This makes the owner's manual go away.
Mm-hmm. I love that tip, and it's a great point because it's true. It's one owner's manual, no matter where you are, and they have their light duty, severe duty, blah blah blah. But honestly, you can read most of those conditions, and it's like a horoscope. You can make them fit for where you are if you really want it to.
Well, so. Of course you can. Of course you can. I mean, the soccer mom who's using her F-150 to go to Costco and then pick up the kids and is just doing runaround city driving, she's not going to have the same use of fluids or brakes or anything like that than, say, the construction worker who's out in the middle of nowhere in a field pulling a trailer full of tools. He's going to be using his truck completely different. They could be in the same city or, in the same environment weather-wise, but they're taking a toll on their vehicle in 2 different ways. So you're telling me that the maintenance schedule that comes in the owner's manual is good for both of them? Not a chance.
Yeah, no, it absolutely doesn't work that way. And that's an excellent point. Excuse me. And so I think we're in agreement with this, that the advisor's job is not necessarily to sell menu items on the drive, but certainly it is to present them to the customer so that when the technician does make their recommendation, when you're coming back to the customer, it's not the first time that they're hearing about it, right? The same thing with their brakes and the multi-point inspection. It's supposed to go from your brakes are green, your brakes are green, your brakes are green, your brakes are yellow, your brakes are yellow. The next time you're in, probably going to need brakes, and your brakes are red. Right, that was the whole point of a multi-point inspection, was so you could watch your things go from green to yellow to red and have some warning and things. And the menu presentation is pretty much the same way. Like
exactly.
You're going to present it. The technician's going to back up that finding, or not back it up, and then you bring it up the next time. But at least the customer's been prepared, been made aware of those fluids that could need changing, or other maintenance items, air filters, cabin filters, that type of thing. So excellent.
Some good points there. Some very, very good points there. What's number 4, Dave?
Number 4, relationship building tools.
Ooh, that sounds heavy duty.
Yeah. This is where we talk mindset. We talk having an attitude of gratitude. We talk about your attire.
Wow.
And having empathy. Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of stuff. And I like the way that this starts out in mindset. So how many times have you been on a drive, either your own, somebody else's, and you get the advisor that comes in 3 minutes before the doors open, just has enough time to click their computer on and grab their walk around pads, and that's it. They're ready to roll. Happens all the time, right?
It's terrible.
The mindset that they're in is, I just rushed here. I left home late. I don't have time to review any appointments. I haven't done anything, and today's going to suck. And usually what happens, they don't sell anything. And then they look at you and go, I don't understand what happened today.
Nobody's buying.
Oh yeah, that's a good one, right? Oh yeah, nobody's buying. It's not me, it's them. Nobody's got any money. Nobody. Then the excuse caboose shows up. Yeah.
Yeah, I've yet to have anybody come to me and say, man, I just couldn't sell today because, you know what? I get up late. I didn't shower. I just brushed a combed a hair through, whatever. I can't say it because I'm bald. I don't know, whatever you people with hair do. And I had headed into work and got there 2 minutes before the door opened. That's why I couldn't sell anything. I've yet to hear that.
No, I hear you. I'm the exact same way. I've yet to hear an advisor come to me and say, yeah, I suck today. You know, that as not nice as that is, it would be really refreshing to hear.
It would be.
You know, and you know, there's many times, and we can use this as a sports analogy, and you will actually get some athletes as they're being interviewed after a game and they had just a bad game, and you will hear an athlete say, yeah, I was terrible today. I was not prepared. I was not mentally prepared to go and give it my all. So this is where mindset comes into play here. And when I was an advisor on the drive, I came in about half an hour early, and I would check through the day's appointments. I would see what maintenances they had declined previously, see what they were due for, and then go to the intangibles. I remember seeing this person last time, and they were talking about their kid and this and that. So what's a common thing that I can talk about at the beginning to have that customer say, wow, you remembered that? That's incredible. That now all of a sudden, again, those walls are breaking down. So we've got to get into the mindset of we are here to dominate, but we've also, and you said before, to get into that attitude of gratitude. I am here to serve my guests. I'm here to serve my customers as best I can, because if I don't, then they are not going to buy, and I'm not going to have money to eat, and then I'm going to be on the street.
Absolutely. Too many homeless advisors out there, Damon.
Well, it is. It's a horrible thing. They should do a telethon for advisors that are homeless right now, because it's so bad, because they come in with 2 minutes to go and they're just bouncing on there. Now, as a manager, here's what I look at, is that if I have an advisor that doesn't sell anything and sees 15 customers in a day, how much money did I lose in the department from that advisor not doing their job properly?
Ooh,
what was the cost of acquisition of that customer to come in? Yeah. And then how much revenue did we lose because that advisor was not prepared to do their job properly?
Yeah. Now that's something that's not tracked enough, is it? Right. But we'll track technicians' productivity, and not link it back to an advisor's poor productivity. If you take that technician that had a 30% productivity on a job, and you go back and you look and you find out that it sat waiting to get approval for 2.5 hours from an advisor, that's another thing to track, is the advisors lost sales.
And I'm really glad that you just brought that up, because you just stole my thunder. Thanks so much for that. I really appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
But,
You're welcome.
one thing that I do is I do a missed opportunities report, and I do it every couple of days, and I will pull a bunch of ROs from every advisor, and I will look at what was missed, what was not talked about, what was neglected, what the customer said no to, or what they bought. If you do this with, say, 6 of your most popular services, and then if on that RO, if the customer was due for 4 services, and let's say those 4 services equaled $1,000, let's say, if you had 4 of those in a day for one advisor, that's $4,000 of revenue lost.
Mm-hmm.
Just think about that for a second.
Yeah.
So you take that over a 30-day period. That's scary, isn't it? That's a ton of money.
It's a lot of money.
So as a manager, are you going to put up with that? Are you going to say,
not.
"Oh, well, it's okay. You just had an off day. You just had an off day," because 1 becomes 2, becomes 3, becomes 4. And then all of a sudden it becomes, well, we need to fire you now because you can't do your job. When as a manager, you should have stopped it early enough by doing a missed opportunities report. And then you could see how much money that advisor was costing you.
Yeah. Well, and that advisor, when that comes down to it, is going to go, "What? I thought I was doing a good job. I thought I was doing really well," because you didn't take the time to go over with them and to take that missed opportunities report and go back to our number 2, which is sales language, and teach them some more sales language, or to take them back to number 1, which was train the walk around, and start right at the beginning again and work on the walk around with them. That firing somebody is never a fun thing to do. And
it's expensive.
It's expensive. And if it gets to be fun, you need to have your head checked. But you should be able to do it with a clear conscience, knowing that you did everything you could as the leader to make sure that you put everything into this person to give them every opportunity to do the job that you expected them to do. So you gave them all the training, you gave them all the talks, everything they needed to be able to do the job, and they didn't perform. Mm-hmm. So that you can let somebody go with a clear conscience. If you're letting somebody go and they have no idea why they're being let go,
you should be following them out the door.
Exactly. You failed. You failed as a leader.
Oh, 100%.
So we started that out with attitude of gratitude. We could probably do a whole podcast on advisor as a career instead of just a job. And I think that ties in with attitude of gratitude, where you're grateful for being there. You're grateful for having the opportunities you have presented to you each day. And if you approach your day like that, good things are bound to follow. Attire was another one that we talked about.
I absolutely love this one. Absolutely love this. So I'm going to tell you a story. I walked into a store on a Saturday. They had one advisor on, and she was wearing sweatpants and boots on a Saturday. A t-shirt, sweatpants, and boots.
It's Saturday, man.
I didn't know if this person worked there or was cleaning the place. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. I couldn't understand that. And I've been in so many other stores where it looks like the people that work there are actually customers there. You cannot tell the difference. Oh, wait, they have maybe a name tag on or a lanyard or something that shows that they work there. But other than that, here's my grubby ass jeans. Here's maybe a factory branded shirt, but maybe not. And, if you don't look the part, you're not going to do well that day. And, you said it before. So you woke up late, you didn't grab a shower, you just blazed a comb through your hair and you zipped to work, and here you are, and you're rushed and you look like hell. Well, yeah. You're going to not feel good. You're not going to do a good job with your guests. And that's going to transcend all day. All day. So,
Hmm.
hey, let's just do it again the next day and see if it works. No, it doesn't. It's the same thing. So, for myself, this is, and there are books actually written on this. A uniform takes away decision fatigue. So I'll tell you what I mean. So I have 6 of the same branded shirts, 6 of the same branded pants. So I don't have that decision fatigue of going to my closet in the morning going, well, what am I going to wear to work today? No, it is this, 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 and this. Here we go. Same thing every day. It's all clean because I've got 6 of each. So now all of a sudden, I'm not making those decisions before I even leave the house in the morning because I've already got that done. So when I get to work, my head is clear because let's be real, the amount of decisions that you're going to make from the time that you wake up to the time that you get to work in the morning are in the thousands, not the hundreds, the thousands. Your brain's already working on overdrive. So if you are going through your closet trying to find something, A, that's clean or not wrinkled, then your brain is spastic already.
Yeah.
So if you've got proper attire and you look professional and you didn't have to think about it and your mind can be working on other things, you're going to be ahead of the game.
Absolutely. And also with attire, like you said, same branded shirt, same brand of pants. The great Fred Beans had said that from the very start of his dealerships, everybody wore a light blue button-down shirt and tan khaki pants, and the managers wore white button-down shirts and tan khaki pants. And that was done for 2 reasons. Number one, to eliminate people wearing all kinds of crazy stuff into work. And number 2, to make it easy for the customers to identify who was who in the dealership. And as you said, when you walked into that dealership and there was an advisor there in sweatpants and a t-shirt, is that the person I'm going to leave my keys with?
Is that the person I'm spending hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars with?
Right. And it's funny you brought up that example because when I started at a store a few years ago, the first Saturday that I went into the store, the 3 advisors that were on all had jeans on. And I said, what are you doing? And they're like, well, it's Saturday. Yeah, I don't care. It's Saturday. We have techs that take a day off during the week so they can work Saturdays. We set up a normal schedule on Saturday. So do we have some kind of customers coming in that I'm not aware of on Saturdays? Because as far as I'm concerned, Saturday's just another day of the week, and the customer deserves your best. Not give it your best. They deserve your best. And you're not going to, you just, whether you want to argue with that point or not, looking good does equate with feeling better, and feeling better is going to equate with performing better.
You're exactly it. You're exactly it. So here's another example of this. If you're going to invest your money, so you got a lot of money to invest, you worked hard for it. Are you going to invest it with the guy who is in jeans and like a shirt and him telling you, oh, yeah, give me your money? Or are you going to go to the bank or to your investment guy who's in a 3-piece suit and looking like $1 million? And they could both be saying the same thing, but perception is the guy in the suit knows more because he looks successful.
Right.
So I always tell my people that you should dress for who you want to be as opposed to who you are.
Yes.
Because if you're rocking it, if you're looking like $100, then you're going to exude that confidence and you are going to be in a better frame of mind to do what you need to do in the course of a day.
Right. And we talked about earlier, Damon, that we have to overcome objections in the service drive with selling to customers. Do we want to add one more objection on there? Do we want to add that objection of, I really just don't like the way this guy dresses. He dresses like a slob.
Yeah, he looks like a homeless person.
Yeah, it's just one more objection to get over that there's no need to even put that roadblock in front of you.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
So the last one on that list of relationship building tasks was empathy, um, which not sympathy, different than sympathy. We're not going to feel bad for a customer, but we do need to be able to understand their situation,
Mhm.
right? And that doesn't mean that we have to sell from our own pocket. It doesn't mean that we, but what it does mean is we need to consider what the customer is going through.
You make a great point. One of the things that I talk about with my advisors is this: is that you can have the empathy for your guests, but here's what it all comes down to: is that I didn't build this vehicle, I don't drive this vehicle, I didn't break this vehicle, but I am going to tell you what it needs. So while I understand where you're coming from, what you're talking about, and how you're feeling, I didn't do any of these things. This is nothing to do with me, and this is nothing personal. Because all too often, what happens with advisors is that they get a big estimate from the technician, and then it becomes, well, I don't think I'll present this, or they don't have the money for this, or they probably won't do this. That is a disservice to your guests. You can't do that. You
Right,
cannot not present everything because you didn't build it, you don't drive it, you didn't break it. And all too often, advisors start to think with their own wallets rather
mm-hmm.
than the customers. I mean, if the customer has a budget, doesn't have a budget, it's not my problem and it's not my decision. I can empathize. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry that this happened. I'm sorry that this broke or that this needs to be done. But again, I didn't build it. I don't drive it. I didn't break it.
Right,
So we
but you
have
can
to
help
get.
them find a solution for that, right?
Of course, 100%.
That's
You can help them find that solution. That is your job. You're not
mm-hmm.
a service salesperson. You're not a service uh, stealer of money. You are an advisor. When I
Advisor,
go to my financial guy, he advises me on what mutual funds to buy or what stocks to buy or whatever. That's what he advises me. This is what I think you should do based on my expertise. That's what advisors need to do. But all too often, we take, like you said, the empathy card and turn it into a sympathy card. I'm so sorry that this happened, and I know you don't have the money for it. And now I'm going to, because I know I don't have the money for it. So therefore, you don't have the money for it. Now we're not going to do anything.
right? Yeah, and that's the difference between the sympathy and empathy. You can have empathy for the situation and for the fact that it's an expensive repair and that they don't have the money for it. But rather than commiserating with them over the fact that they don't have money for it, you find solutions. You be the advisor that you are most likely paid very well for, and hopefully you've chosen this as your career and not just a job. And now you find solutions with the customer. You put everything in order of the magnitude of what needs to be done first, what needs to be done second, what can wait until the next visit. That's what you're paid for, and that's where empathy can help you.
100%. So a lot of times when a customer will say no, it's because they just want to be heard. So here's another tip. Anytime as an advisor, if you get an objection from a customer or a stall or anything like that, or they just come right out and they start coming at you with, you're trying to rip me off and you're trying to do this and this and this. How about this? Just look at the customer dead in the eye and say, I understand. I understand what you're saying. That will diffuse the situation almost instantaneously because they
Mm-hmm.
just want to be heard.
Right.
So if you say that, I understand what you're saying. However, this is the situation that we're in. Now, all of a sudden, it's a completely different conversation as opposed to you coming at them with this huge estimate, them saying no, and now you're just clashing. So just
Right.
understand. I understand.
Understanding is a big deal to a lot of people, and especially to a customer who feels like they have no other choices.
Exactly. You don't want to make your customer feel boxed in. You're there
Right.
to advise, and advising may mean putting together a plan. Here's a trick that
Yes.
you can use. If you've got 10 things on an estimate, maybe 3 get done this time, maybe 3 get done in a month from now, and maybe the the last 4 get done 2 months from now, or maybe on the next visit. So why not set up an automotive plan for your guest rather than just do it all now, or don't do it at all, or, having no plan.
Right. Yeah, I love that idea. Set up a roadmap. To go back to your financial advisor analogy, a financial advisor, you're not going to walk in and he's not going to say, "All right, well, you need $2 million to retire, so just give me $2 million and you're all set."
Yeah, exactly.
It's not
They
gonna.
don't say that. No, they say, how much
Right.
do you want to put away every month? What can you
Hmm.
afford to do? And then this is what it's going to do. Not here, give me all your money right now. That never happens because nobody has it. Nobody's, and
Right.
it's not realistic.
Right. And so they work with you, they empathize with you, and they work out a plan.
100%.
Uh, all right.
What's
Guess
number
what?
5, Davey?
Number 5. Always be helping. That's a
Oh,
little different than the Glenn Ross always be closing. This is always be helping.
this is a really good one. So we like to talk about teams. We don't have employees, we have a team, or we have a family, or no, you don't. No, you don't. Everybody is out for themselves. Let's
What?
just call it what it is. Because at the end of the day, if I lose my job, my teammates aren't paying my bills.
It's
So
true.
I just said what everybody was thinking, but nobody wants to talk about it. But here's the deal. You can help each other in the drive. You can help each other with, training. You can help each other with, hey, I just learned this new skill and I want to teach it to you. I mean, how many times have you seen it in a drive where all the advisors are busy except one, and people are waiting, and that advisor is just looking down at their computer and praying that nobody comes and asks them a question?
Way too often.
Happens all the time. So rather than, having that of, oh, don't talk to me because I don't want to do anything, get up and do something. You want to talk about team, we're a team, we're this, we're that, then put up or shut up. Because as much as us as managers want to talk about, oh, I've got a team environment and it's a team and it's a team, unless you are promoting that to all your people and you are living it from the top down, then nobody is going to get into that team atmosphere.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I'm a big believer in team. I'm a big believer in. I know the New England Patriots are a hated football team for a lot of people, but Bill Belichick and do your job. That's a big thing with him. Just do your job. The right tackle has a job to do, and he must do it. But that right tackle also, in doing his job, needs to know what's going on to the right or left of him, so that if he has to help, he can. And that's the message that I promote with my team: is you have a job to do. You need to be focused on getting that job done and doing your job. So that means not complaining that advisor 2 didn't take it up when they should have, or that technician A doesn't do a multi-point, or whatever it is that you need to complain about or want to complain about. You need to do your job, and it's my job to make everybody else do their job. So I'm the big umbrella at the top of the forest, and everyone else is the spokes of that umbrella. And if we all do our job, then it comes together in a nice handle for the customer to hold and have a roof over them or an umbrella over them.
That's a great analogy. And just like you said about Belichick, about do your job, how many, and I know we're kind of getting off topic and into sports here, but how many problem players went to the Patriots and then all of a sudden became model performers, model athletes? A ton of them have.
Yes.
And if they didn't succeed there, it wasn't because they weren't given the opportunities or the chances, because they did not want to buy into the concept.
Right.
So again, let's just go back to it and exactly what you said, and that it starts with the leader of a team format. And hey, if you're a service manager, be on your drive in the morning, stand out there and see what's going on. And if you see where there's a problem or a weakness or a weak link, it is your job to fix it. You can call out that advisor that's not helping out to say, hey, you need to start helping out because everybody else is busy. So, I mean, in our drive, in our store, we have what's called a closed drive. So each advisor works with the same guests every time that they come in. So you may have 3 advisors that don't have anybody in front of them at that point, and you may have one advisor that's got 3 people in front of them because all of her or his guests came in all at the same time. Well, it's the other advisor's jobs to go and talk to those people and start the process of doing a walk around and talking about all those things so that when that other advisor is ready, he or she has all the information. Now, maybe that advisor is still with a guest even when you're done. Write up the damn work order. Just write it up. Because the things that I've heard previously, I'm not writing it up because I'm not getting paid for it. Oh my goodness. Wow. So this is what it's come down to, is that you're not going to do it because you're not going to get paid. Okay. So here's what you can do is you can pack up all your things and you can leave, because that's not how we do it here. You know, it's a great line, but you can fit in or you can F off, one of the two.
That is a great line.
You know, there's your choice. And when I hire advisors, I give them explicitly how this goes. This is how we do things here. You can either do it this way or you can't be here. Which one are you going to do?
Yeah, and that sounds like tough love, and in a way it is, but it's really providing, not providing. It's doing what a leader is supposed to do, right? It sets the tone. And the tone is that we are not going to operate as individuals here. We are a team, and we will work together, and we will help each other, and we will all succeed. And
you're exactly right. You're exactly right. And it starts with the framework of what us as managers come out with. So when, as I said, when we hire every person that we hire, whether it be a technician, whether it be an advisor, they're given a minimum standard that they have to hit. These are the things that you need to do. This is the things that we believe in. Not just, oh, here's your company mission statement on a piece of parchment that's framed sitting, in the waiting room. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares. Like it's not even worth the paper that it's printed on. But here's the real deal. These are the things that you need to do to work here. And if you can't do those, you can't work here. So what's it going to be? And you have to lay it out that soon, that quickly, and that bluntly. Because if you don't, then you're going to have people coming saying, I didn't know. Nobody told me.
Right.
You can't expect people to follow the rules of the game if they don't know the rules.
Very true. Very true. It's impossible to do your job if you don't know what the job is.
Exactly.
All right. So, Damon, one of the things I wrote down here for our end here was that if you are aligned with your integrity for your business and your message, that you will deliver on exactly what you said, that it would be impossible to not make money.
Wow.
And yeah, it's what I truly believe. If you are there and you're doing your job with integrity, so you're not selling crap that's not needed to customers, and that you honestly believe in your heart that you are going to deliver to that customer exactly what you tell them you will deliver to them, then there is no way that you are going to stand on that service drive or lead a team and not make money. It's just impossible.
Yeah, that's a great line, and people should be writing that down and be living by it. I've got a coach, and he's usually said, he always says to me, if you wouldn't sell it to your mother, don't sell it to your customers.
Absolutely.
And that's so true, is that in this business, all too often, because of the pay plans, and I've seen some ridiculous ones, people will always go for the quick money, and those are the people that don't last in this business. So
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
If you can stand behind what your own integrity is, you will never, ever have a problem, because people will see through the BS. And if you're genuine and authentic, you will never have a problem.
Absolutely. I love it. And that is a perfect spot for us to end episode 2. I can't believe we've been on the air this long. 2 episodes.
I can't believe that we actually have done this 2 weeks in a row. The procrastinators 1 and 2.
It's amazing. We got it done, brother. So I look forward to another conversation with you next week. And I don't know what we'll talk about, but I'm sure there will be something unbelievably interesting for us to talk about.
Well, I'm sure that us 2 old guys will find something to BS about. So stay tuned for that one, folks, because it sounds like a doozy.
Woo-wee. We're gonna bring you a winner. All right, Damon, go shovel some snow, brother.
All right, take care of yourself and have a great week. Go sell some stuff. Go make some friends. Go get some customers, and let's have a great week, everybody.
Absolutely. And remember to like, share, subscribe to this
podcast.
Tell your friends. Tell your friends. You should tell your friends. It's free.
It is free. This is free stuff we got going on.
Free. Tell your friends. All right, Damon, see you next week.
Take care, brother.